The story of a mad scientist conjuring a monster from dead human body parts and a bolt of lightning is one universally known. The story originated from Mary Shelley's classic novel Frankenstein. The first adaptation of the novel was produced in 1931, over 100 years after the release of Shelley's novel, and was directed by James Whale. The film was based very loosely on Shelley's original story, and there were significant changes to the plot and the characters. Dr. Frankenstein in Shelley's version was known as Victor Frankenstein, and his name was changed to Henry Frankenstein in Whale's adaptation. Colin Clive plays the role of the mad scientist Frankenstein, and Boris Karloff plays the role of his creation, the monster. James Whale tries to accurately portray the advancing technologies of the time, which played a significant role in the plot of the story. Moreover, let's consider Colin Clive's adaptation of the mad scientist.
Quite a good scene, isn't it? One man crazy, three very sane spectators.
Within this scene, the viewers see the advancing technologies that took place in the writing of Shelley's novel. The use of electricity and electric currents play a significant role in the creation of the monster. Along with this, viewers will see how Colin Clive accurately portrays the mad scientist and his god complex.
It's alive! Oh, in the name of God! Now I know what it feels like to be God!
Viewers are able to understand how his god complex controls him. Moreover, now let's meet his creation, the monster. This movie depicts the monster as unintelligent and emotionless, whereas Shelley's version of the monster was very different. Shelley's monster was intelligent and had complex emotions. Most of his actions were rooted from his internal sadness and feelings of loneliness. In this scene, viewers can see the difference between the two versions by his inability to walk and express himself in the humane way that the monster in the novel does. Wells's version is fascinated by light and exemplifies his inability to understand the world around him. These main differences are made to appeal to the audience. Because the film was advertised as a horror film, Shelley's original creation did not fit the form of the type of monster needed to fulfill the characteristics of a monster in a horror film. These changes are made to make the monster appear villainous and evil, way more than he truly is in Shelley's story. In Shelley's story, the monster is portrayed as a much more humane character, even considerably more humane than his creator himself, Dr. Frankenstein.
Take care there, Frankenstein, take care! Shut off the light! Sit down. Go and sit down.
This difference between the movie and the novel is explained through the role of Fritz, Frankenstein's assistant, who was not written into the original story. Fritz is given the task of stealing a brain for Frankenstein's creation and messes up the brains, which results in him getting the brain of a previous criminal, explaining the film adaptation of the monster's evil behavior. This next scene is extremely significant because it was originally censored in the initial release. This scene is very different than the one in the novel. In the original story, the monster saves the young girl from drowning, but in this scene it is portrayed very differently. Once again, this is for the appeal of the consumer. Another important aspect of this scene to note is that the young girl can identify with the Jungian archetype as the innocent. Her graceful movements and softer, more feminine aspects are significant because they enhance the villainous role of the monster, making him much more evil.
Who are you? I'm Maria. Will you play with me? Would you like one of my flowers? You have those, and I'll have these. I can make a boat. See how mine floats? No, you're hurting me! No!
Overall, the film adaptation is very different than the original story written by Mary Shelley. The film had significant changes in order to appeal to the consumer. The story had to make necessary changes in order to become scarier and more sinister. The original story allows readers to understand that the true monster is Dr. Frankenstein himself and not his creation. The creation was seeking guidance and was given rejection. All in all, Clive and Karloff accurately portrayed the roles they were meant to fill. With Karloff's terrifying impression, he proved the terror that the story needed, and Clive's portrayal of Frankenstein's madness was strong and accurate. To conclude, Whale's direction of the film was not necessarily true to Shelley's story, but fit the appeal of the consumers.